This is a global news update on top accolade news. The headlines: Vietnam marks 50 years since war's end. Trump congratulates Carney. Trump offers auto tariff relief. Tensions soar between India and Pakistan. We start with the focus in politics. Vietnam marks 50 years since war's end. Thousands gathered on Wednesday to mark the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War in a lavish state-led celebration held by Communist Party chief To Lam as a victory of faith. The commemoration featured a large military parade, an air show with Russian fighter jets, and patriotic displays symbolizing national unity. While U.S.-Vietnam relations have grown since normalization in 1995, trade tensions loom over newly announced tariff, potentially threatening Vietnam's export economy. A U.S. diplomat was present at the parade, unlike in past anniversaries signaling evolving ties. China, Russia, and France also had symbolic representation, reflecting Vietnam's complex historic alliances. Still in politics, Trump congratulates Carney. Carney's Liberals have secured a projected minority government in Canada, winning 169 seats, just shy of a majority. U.S. President Donald Trump called Prime Minister Carney to congratulate him, with both leaders agreeing to pursue a new economic and security partnership between the two countries. Carney, a former central banker, now faces the challenge of governing without a majority, while Trump's remark about making Canada the 51st state sparked swift rejection from Carney. Both sides expressed readiness to cooperate. With a domestic agenda focused on housing and tax reforms, Carney was prepared to host the G7 summit this June. Shifting focus to economy, Trump offers auto tariff relief.
Another word.
President Donald Trump announced a partial easing of his controversial auto tariffs on Tuesday, signing two executive orders that provide temporary relief to U.S. car makers just days before a new round of 25% levies on auto parts takes effect. Speaking in Michigan, Trump unveiled a 2-year grace period allowing domestic automakers to offset some import taxes, a move aimed at calming investor jitters and stabilizing the U.S. auto supply chain.
And to help these automakers bring their factories home as rapidly as possible, I've just signed an executive order to give partial tariff rebates to any company that assembles its cars right here in the U.S. Another word.
While industry leaders welcome the shift, they warn it falls short of the certainty needed for long-term planning. The White House also hinted at progress on a new trade deal, potentially with India, as Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick confirmed that an agreement with an unnamed foreign partner is awaiting final approval. Despite some market optimism, economic uncertainty remains high, with major firms adjusting forecasts and laying off workers in response to ongoing tariff turbulence. Moving to conflict, tensions soar between India and Pakistan. Tensions between the nuclear-armed neighbors, India and Pakistan, are escalating following a deadly tourist attack in Indian-controlled Kashmir that left 26 dead, mostly tourists. Pakistan's government warned late Tuesday that it had credible intelligence of an imminent Indian military strike, a claim India has not officially responded to. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has granted full operational freedom to the armed forces following a high-level meeting with military leaders. India blames Pakistan-based militants from the April 22 massacre, where Islamabad denies involvement and urges a joint investigation. With gunfire already being exchanged across the line of control and diplomatic ties deteriorating, the United Nations and the United States are urging restraint to avoid a potentially catastrophic conflict. You are watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in conflict, US and UK launched joint strike on Houthi drone facility in Yemen. US and British forces carried out a joint nighttime airstrike in Yemen targeting a Houthi drone manufacturing site near the capital, according to the UK Ministry of Defence. The facility was reportedly linked to recent drone attacks on Red Sea shipping lanes. The UK said the operation was timed to minimize civilian risk and its aircraft returned safely. This marks a continued escalation under President Donald Trump's directive to intensify strikes against the Iran-backed Houthis, who have killed dozens in recent weeks, including 74 in a mid-April strike at an oil terminal. Right groups have voiced alarm over rising civilian casualties, including a reported 68 deaths at a migrant detention center hit earlier this week, which the US is now investigating. Moving on in conflict, Switzerland to enforce ban on Hamas. Switzerland has officially enforced a new law banning Hamas and affiliated organization starting May 15, aiming to prevent the Palestinian militant group from operating or finding safe haven within Swiss borders. The legislation passed by Parliament in December followed Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on Israel that left 1,200 dead and over 250 hostages taken to Gaza, triggering a war that has since killed more than 52,000 Palestinians, according to local health officials. Swiss authorities say the law grants stronger power for entry ban, expulsion, and financial crackdown, reinforcing the country's commitment to counter terrorism and halting any logistical or financial support for Hamas within its territory. In entertainment, Katy Perry responds to space flight backlash. Pop star Katy Perry has spoken out for the first time since facing intense backlash over her recent space flight with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, saying she feels battered and bruised by online criticism but remained optimistic. The singer, who joined 5 other women on an all-female 11-minute mission earlier this month, acknowledged the harsh reaction, especially amid global economic challenges, but told her fans she's okay and continues to look to the light. Despite criticism on her in-flight performance and album rollout, fans rallied with a Times Square billboard declaring their love and support ahead of a global tour. Perry thanked them, saying she's growing alongside her fans and remains committed to her beautiful and wild journey. Now in sports, Jamaican hurdler eyes World Championship final. Jamaican 400-meter hurdler Malik James King has kicked off his 2025 season with confidence and determination, aiming for a spot in the final at the World Athletics Championship in Japan this September. His coach, Gregory Little of Titus Track Club, says the 25-year-old is training harder than ever, seeking not only to reach the final but to improve on his personal best. After a heartbreak at the 2024 Olympics, where he fell at the last hurdle in the semi-finals, his team is focused on consistency and peaking at the right time. That concludes our global news update for today. Stay tuned for more global news and development. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojarumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.